The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of KSMQ Public Service Media Incorporated or its assigns.
Tonight, the personal stories and experiences of people who have lost weight and kept it off. Find out how to fight obesity in your life. You're watching Health Connections. Tonight, we're talking about obesity and what you can do to change your life. While there are many statistics we can use to discuss the obesity problems facing millions across the United States, the stories of those that have beaten obesity are much more powerful. Our guests tonight are Jamie Michael from the Rochester Athletic Club, Kaloa Hansen, and Gary Kadansky. Thank you all for coming tonight and sharing your experiences with us. Now, Gary and Kaloa, I understand both of you have lost almost 100 pounds or a little more than 100 pounds in your experience. You've gone from a whole different person to what you are today. Could maybe just kind of walk us through a little bit of your experiences?
Well, about 2.5 years ago, scale-wise, thinking about weight-wise, I was at about 285 pounds, and that's where I lived probably most of my adult life. And I had the opportunity a little over 2 years ago to be part of a Biggest Loser contest that was in Rochester at the Rochester Athletic Club. And I was chosen to be one of 12 contestants. And that's where I met Jamie, and I was also connected with a trainer to walk me through some things. And I can remember walking in and just saying to these people, just tell me what I need to do. Don't ask me what I need to do. Tell me what I need to do to lose weight and have success. And it started that journey. 25 years of being a heavy man and not spending any time really exercising. I might go for a walk with my wife or go to play tennis every now and again. But not having any kind of regular exercise in my life for about a 25-year period. And that's where my journey started a little over 2 years ago. 12 weeks after the contest, I had lost about 43 pounds. And it was a contest that I won, and I was able to continue working out at the Rochester Athletic Club and continue to lose some more weight, and have taken off a total of about 80 pounds over the last 2 years.
Wow. And
kept it off up to this point.
Nice. So Kaloa, how does your story differ?
I have been on 5 different diets and gained 50 pounds. Wow. I was suffering from high blood pressure, not at medicine level yet. I got determined that it was time to lose weight. I went to the RAC and got involved with the 12-week program. I got introduced to Jamie. She's been my nutritionist. She's followed my meal planning, make sure I eat right, make sure I eat the right kind of foods, the right amount of foods. I got connected with a strength trainer who strengthened my muscles, tightened up my skin as I lost weight, got a little bit flabby. I've gone from 232 pounds down to 178. I've gone dress size from size 22 down to size 12. My blood pressure is now low normal. I exercise daily. My major exercise is walking. I don't do a lot of strenuous stuff. I have participated in a couple of cancer walks, a 3K and a 5K, and I think an 8K. And I have family support that helps me. Even my husband that was reluctant to start now is helping he's the major cook, so he buys stuff that's low fat or less fat and substitutes stuff for that.
Wow. So you made a ton of changes, both of you. Now, Jamie, you seem to be at the center of this, at least in this situation.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this program and that you've really worked through.
So what Kaloa and both Gary did was a 12-week program, and basically we have them working with a dietitian, myself, or we have another dietitian that works during the day, and they work with a personal trainer, so we have both that accountability on the activity piece as well as on the food piece. And what we do is we meet with them weekly, and we develop small changes for them to work on. So we set usually 2 challenges a week, whether it be increase your vegetables this week, or a health challenge is to maybe park further away. We focus on those small steps to make some of those longer term changes and try not to overwhelm them.
So you're not starting week 1, let's lose 15 pounds.
No. And that's another thing. We try to focus on more performance goals versus outcome goals. A lot of people, when they look at a weight loss program, they think, I want to lose 25 pounds. And we need to focus on some of the behavioral changes to get to that point, because if you start making those behavioral changes, the outcome goals will come eventually. Your weight will drop, but I think it's just getting them to step back and realizing some of the lifestyle changes that they need to make in order to get to the outcome goal.
So lifestyle changes is usually what gets people to back away from these programs. They'll immediately start and they go, oh, okay, I'm really wound up, and about a week later, okay, this is sickening. What kept you guys going? Gary, what kept you going?
I believe the accountability, the public accountability of the contest that I was in, because I was coming across kids and other adults, and they would say, hey, I hear you're in this contest, and as I might be reaching for something that I ought not be reaching for food-wise.
Gets a big smack.
But the public accountability was part of it, but it was just learning the basics of food education, of a pound is made up of 3,500 calories. And an apple is 100 calories, and a double cheeseburger that I would eat was about 500 calories, and just learning the numbers of how many calories I burn just sitting here talking today, how many calories in a day I burn, how many calories I'm eating, and learning to journal and log and understand the foods that I'm eating. There is nothing that I've stopped eating, but I am eating better, and I'm eating less, and then moving more is kind of how I answer people when they say, how'd you do it? I eat less, I eat better, and I move more. But it was just the tools of when I get on a treadmill or do some other cardio exercise, that if I can get my heart rate into this particular zone, I'm going to burn more fat. And these are all things that I never knew until sitting down with Jamie and talking with Susie, who was my trainer, and just learning all kinds of great information. And I think that's helped me continue to maintain the loss.
So Kaloa, were you the same way, where that counting those numbers? It sounds like Gary's kind of a numbers guy in some sense. Did that throw something at you?
The calorie counting was most important to me, but even pulling out something from the grocery store, flipping it over and reading the label has been huge, and knowing what each number means. My support system has been my daughter. She's been walking with me, but the greatest thing that keeps me motivated is once you lose that first 30 pounds, everybody around you notices, and they want to do the same thing. And every day somebody comes up to me, well, what do you think about this? I says, go for a walk with me. You know, eat breakfast, you know. And they say, well, I've been skipping meals and haven't been eating that much. But the thing is they may have skipped lunch and breakfast and lunch, but have a huge supper. And it's just before you go to bed. The important thing is to eat all day long good food, nutritious food.
No, that's a good transition for people. I was going to ask Jamie about people who aren't as numbers driven, but do you see that maybe some of those people get more motivated by simply that few losses, or that lose 2 pounds and then lose 2 more pounds? And
yeah, definitely. They see the number on the scale, and it gives them more drive to want to lose more. And I think a lot of people are number focused, and it's good to focus on the other positives that are coming from your weight loss as well. As I feel more energetic, I'm able to play with my kids without losing my breath, and those types of things is you need to be focused on those other factors as well. Just not just the numbers, because people tend to get discouraged if they don't see a 2-pound weight loss in a week, every week, to their goal. So I think it's important to kind of step back and say, look at the other things that have come, the positive things that have come from your weight loss, just to not get people discouraged along the way.
You ever tell somebody to just quit going on the scale? Just exercise and forget the scale? If
it gets to a point where I feel like somebody's getting obsessive about it, I will say, let's kind of step back. This seems to be ruining your day. For those other people, if it's accountability and they need to see those numbers in order to keep pushing, and they could step on the scale and say, oh, it's fine, I'm just going to really work harder, then I would say yes, maybe they need that accountability. But for those people that kind of let it drag their day and they kind of feel like they're going to fall off track, then I probably wouldn't suggest the ongoing weighing. Some people.
I know, that's me. And it's strange, and I'll almost do it as a. I don't know why. I just do it. I'm sorry. I'm a little obsessed on the scale, and my wife will straighten me out. But I can weigh myself on Monday, and I'll be at this weight. 2 days later, even though I've been exercising and I've been eating great, I step on the scale just to see, and I'm like 2 pounds heavier, and it's like I don't get. So I am learning to be not as obsessive on the scale, and I know as we hear people ask us questions about what we've done, and I will say, don't worry about the scale. How are your clothes fitting? Are things looser? Because people will change their body without losing any weight. So this is like a coming clean for me. I need to just stay off the scale.
Just maybe get a piece of tape, put it over the numbers.
That's right. I'll do that.
So.
My issue with the scale is if I weigh every week and only lose a half a pound, I get depressed. So I weigh every other week. Then I lose a pound or a pound and a half, and I feel great.
And for Chloe, she was seeing a good weight loss. I mean, she was averaging 2 to 3 pounds a week. And then once your body hits a certain point, you don't see as much weight loss. And that's the point that Chloe said, okay, let's step back, and maybe every other week would be better for me, because I don't want to get depressed over the whole week and feel like I'm doing something wrong, like I'm a failure. Because she's definitely not. And, she's following every guideline that I give her, and both of them were very good at sticking to things to a T.
Yeah, but who was better? Was I better?
Equally.
Oh,
Equal.
I'm just asking. I'm
Yes.
just wondering.
Ask me in 2.5 years.
Okay.
So one of the things everybody always hears, right? Eat less, exercise more. And that's just basically the absolute bottom line, same as the stock market, right? Buy low, sell high. But what are some of the tricks that you've learned to kind of do to help you really stay in that mode? Because everybody knows it. So few people do it. I'll give myself an example, right? I mean, I've got the thinnest fingers you'll ever see because I'm at a keyboard all day long. The rest of me sits there, doing my little thing. What are some of the tricks you guys have learned to keep motivated and keep moving?
Journaling is still big, and again, just knowing the numbers has helped me in a lot of different ways. But knowing that if I have X number of calories that I can eat in a day, and if I know I'm not going to exercise, or even if I will exercise, just knowing how those numbers affect me. For me, part of the trick is eating probably 6 different times during the course of a day. I'll have not so much snacks, but I'll just portion control. is just learning that, and that was part of the time with Jamie, and really grabbing hold of that I don't have to have 3/4 of a pizza to feel good. I can just have my 2 pieces and have a good balance. But just having a balance of foods, the back to the basics of the fruits and the vegetables, and balance on your plate, and not trying to eat everything in the course of one meal. But for me, I'll spread it out where I'm eating 6 or 7 times a day, little bits and pieces, just to kind of keep my metabolism going.
For me, journaling is a great thing. The help with the nutritionist Jamie and the strength trainer. Forcing myself to actually go and do those kind of things. The biggest thing is getting to the health clubs. I was also given what's called the Groove, and the Groove keeps track of how many calories you burn a day, and you have to go from the different colors. It starts at red, progresses to orange, yellow, blue, and then green. At the end of the day, you have to be green. My motivation was always to be green. For a while, I was exercising 1,200 calories a day.
Is that a program that you got from the athletic club?
From the club.
Okay.
Yep, and that's a Mayo Clinic, a guy from the Mayo Clinic invented that,
Okay.
I believe.
You suppose they've turned it into an iPad app yet?
Yeah, soon they will, I'm sure.
I think it's comparable to the
Pedometer.
pedometer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only it counts calories. There's several very helpful tools out there. This is just the one that I got introduced to. Driving force, everybody in my family asked me, is your Groove green yet? I go to Florida and I go for a walk with my nieces. They go, oh, is your Groove green? Can we go for a walk? So it's motivation for me and my family.
And I think the support, as has been mentioned, you know, to have my wife walk alongside with me in this, from the meal preparation to now when we go work out, we're working out together, so there's that accountability, and I really can't imagine having the success I've had without that kind of support throughout even the last 2 years. You know, people like Jamie and people at the club, and just other people that I run across that I don't see maybe in a year, and they'll walk past me as I say, you know, if I didn't see you for a year, and you know, I'll walk past you and say, hey, Sean, and you'll walk past me and like, Gary, what? And that happens, and so that is an encouragement, and it's just a reminder that people, you know, there is change, and people are watching what we're doing too. So just to know that accountability is out there is good for us.
So for me, probably half of my day is spent in the work environment. I spend a ton of time there, and you're right. If I were to walk by somebody at work, they would absolutely notice. But 95% of the time or more, I'm sitting in my chair. I mean, do you have jobs that are like that, where they're sedentary, or?
For me, I know that I have for my work, spend a lot of time with kids, but it's a light activity lifestyle, and so that's why when we go to the gym, we got to crank it up a little bit. But work-wise, it is relatively sitting in a chair, sitting at a keyboard, or going on campus and interacting with kids, and just walking from table to table, not sprinting and not walking miles a day. So it's important for me to make it a priority as to where it's going to fit in the day, and plan my exercise so it is going to happen. I know people do it at the end of the day. We need to do it at the beginning of the day, or it gets lost as the day goes on. It makes it easier to say, I don't think I'm going to be able to get there, or I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do.
And for me, I plan my work around my exercise instead of my exercise around my work. I work out in the morning, take a 15-minute walk in the morning, about 10 o'clock, take another walk at lunchtime, in the afternoon, and then again at night. I might take a walk with the dog or go with my daughter. We walk a mile or two at night. The thing that also is important is that you plan your meals during the day. If you're going to be sitting at a place and you know you're going to be there all day, instead of walking over to the Galleria to pick up a piece of pizza at 700 calories, pack a sandwich, pack your fruit, your vegetables, your yogurt, and just plan on that's what you're going to be eating. So you have time to eat that quick and go for a walk instead of walking over there and eating.
So one of my biggest challenges is that I was as high as 280 personally, down to 220 at one point, and then I was stupid and got myself promoted. And with this new job came all of this new relationship building. And of course here in America, what do? We eat. So
Let's
we
do
go
lunch.
out, yeah, let's do lunch. Let's go out for lunch and more lunch and more lunch. So Jamie, are there ways maybe that, or places or things that you recommend for people to maybe
Yeah. In a circumstance like that, when you know that you're going to be eating out, it's something that's going to happen probably 4 or 5 days a week. I would definitely encourage you to start off with a good breakfast. That's the most important thing. Most people, when they know they're going to be eating out for lunch, they'll say, well, I better skip breakfast to save some of my calories. And that is not the answer, because what happens is you get to lunch and you're ravenous, and you pretty much want to eat everything in sight. So I always tell people, if anything, don't show up to a meal ravenous. So you get your breakfast in. Maybe if you know it's going to be a later lunch, then you have maybe a mid-morning snack with protein and a carb together. That will kind of help tide you over when you get to the lunch. Make sure you're making sensible decisions. Maybe work on adding some vegetables and some fruits with that. So if you're going to a buffet of some sort, grab a salad before. And then, with your plate, you want to make sure you're getting at least 3 different food groups on your plate. And don't overwhelm your plate with carbs. No filling your whole plate with pasta. You need to incorporate some of that variety onto your plate. So if you know something like that's going to be happening, majority of days of the week, you need to, plan ahead. And that's the biggest thing for people is pre-plan, and don't set yourself up. Grab a to-go container beforehand. If you know that the portion is going to be large, then plan ahead. Ask for that container ahead of time and scoop half of that into the container to avoid some of that temptation throughout the meal. That's definitely helpful for people.
Interesting.
Yeah, we will still go out, whether it's fast food, but looking for the better products that are lower in calories but still meet some of the dietary needs that we have, or even some of the restaurants that we go to, that it really is amazing how so many of them, you have to look for the fine print, but they do have the the low cal, the low fat things down on menus, and there are options, but it's being prepared to walk in. I think as Jamie said, to know that if that's going to be happening, to think about it, and not where you're kind of freaking out over, oh no, I got another lunch today, but to think, okay, well I know when I go here, and I'm sure you have your favorite spots, as everybody does, and if they don't have some low-cal options, maybe you need to build a relationship with the manager at the restaurant and say, hey, help me out, help me out here a little bit.
But anything can be low-cal if you know what you're eating.
Yeah.
And another thing is drink water. Instead of that soda with your pizza, drink water. When I started, I was drinking 3 bottles of pop a day, and now I maybe 1 a month, and that's a diet pop. Most of my beverage now is water or tea.
So Kahlua, tell me how losing all this weight has changed your life.
I'm happier.
Good.
And I'm sure my husband will agree I'm easier to get along with. I just feel energized. It's just a world of difference. I feel like I'm 20 years younger. I know that's a lot, but I really do. I feel like when I just got out of high school, and probably way less than what I did when I was in high school. But yeah.
Nice. Gary?
Well, losing all this weight has made me such a big, I kind of feel like a rock star. No, that's not it.
Get a record deal and
Well, the record,
Did you
if
pick up singing?
everybody's watching, I'll give you my email address and we'll get, no.
yeah, yeah.
People say, do you feel better? Do you feel better? And the answer is yes, but I still like to take a nap at 2 in the afternoon, and it's not that when I wake up in the morning, it's still, all right, here we go, come on, we got to get going. But once I'm doing some exercise or doing a project around the house or doing something, the endurance that I have is off the charts. I mean, I feel a little bit like the Energizer Bunny. Takes me a little while to get going, but the endurance, I think, is what has shown up for me. And one thing also is I can buy clothes, and I haven't been able to do this in 25 years. I can buy a shirt that does not have the letter X in it. And that's something I haven't been able to do since high school. And that was a while back for me. So, you know, there is a little more confidence, and it does. It feels good. Not a na-na-na-na-na, look where I am. But I think with the kids I work with, I know that I've had a lot of conversations with kids and even adults. How have you done it? I struggle with this. And so people will just come and open up and talk with you about it. And I think the beautiful thing, I'm sure you'd agree, is that if we can do it without supplements, without any extra supplements or whatever, just exercise, eat better, it can happen. Because it's happened for us. And it can happen to anybody who's watching this program right now.
That's great. Well, I think you two have an amazing story, and Jamie being helping to be the facilitator for this.
I'm glad I could help. It's these guys' motivation that did it, but I'm glad I could be their support.
Well, I congratulate you on what you've done so far, and keep on going. So,
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. Well, that's been an episode of Health Connections, and thank you very much.